Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a really interesting report to dig into today. It's all about the global market for silicone masterbatches.
Yeah, and if that term sounds a bit technical, stick with us. Basically, these are high-performance additives for plastics. Really clever stuff.
Exactly. They make plastics better, stronger, more durable. Sometimes they even improve the look and feel.
And our mission today is pretty simple. We're going to break down this dense report, pull out the key insights, the future trends, just for you, our listeners.
And the numbers right off the bat are, well, pretty impressive. We're talking a global market size in 2025 estimated at USD 751.8 million.
Which is already substantial. But the projection by 2033, it's expected to jump to USD 191.73 million.
That's a big leap. It works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 7.0% over that period.
So solid growth.
Yeah.
And the report really points to a couple of key drivers for that.
Right. What's pushing it?
Primarily, it's the increasing demand for these high-performance materials, especially from the automotive sector and the construction industry.
Makes sense. Those industries are always looking for tougher, better materials.
Exactly. They need that extra edge, and these silicone master batches seem to be providing it.
Okay, so a market pushing $750 million soon, growing at 7%. What's the time frame for this report's data, like the base year and forecast?
Good question. The report uses 2024 as the base year for all these figures.
Okay.
And it looks back, gives historical context from 2021 to 2024. Then the forecast period, as we said, runs from 2025 right through to 2033.
Got it. So a nice long view. Let's get into the geography. Where's the biggest market action happening right now? North America seems like a heavyweight.
Absolutely. North America is currently holding the largest piece of the pie, over 40% of the global revenue, actually.
Over 40%. What does that look like in dollar terms for 2025?
For 2025, it's estimated at USD 218.02 million for North America. And they're looking at a pretty steady CAGR of 5% through 2033.
And inside North America, the U.S. must be dominant.
Yeah, the U.S. is the biggest chunk, around USD 172.02 million in 2025, growing at about 4.8%.
Okay.
Then you've got Canada, smaller at USD 26.16 million, but growing a bit faster, 5.8% CAGR. And Mexico's at USD 19.84 million, with a 5.5% growth rate.
So what makes North America such a powerhouse in this market?
Well, the report highlights a few things working together. There's just really strong, consistent demand from key industries like automotive, construction, and packaging.
Right.
Plus, they have very advanced manufacturing capabilities over there, and they seem pretty quick to adopt new high-performance materials.
And R&D.
Yeah, significant R&D investment, too. So they're not just users, they're innovators in this space as well.
Interesting. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. What about Europe?
Europe's another major player, holds over 30% of the global market share.
Over 30%, so second largest.
That's right. Their 2025 market value is pegged at USD 278.17 million, with a projected CAGR of 5.5%.
And within Europe, it seems quite fragmented looking at the numbers. UK, Germany are big.
Yeah, the UK is significant, USD 46.73 million market size, and a strong growth rate, actually, 6.3% CAGR.
Higher than the regional average.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Germany's even bigger in market size, USD 55.08 million, growing at 5.7%.
Okay.
Then you have France, Italy, Russia, Spain, all solid markets in the $20 to $40 million range, maybe slightly lower growth rates, sort of 4.5 to 4.9%.
And even smaller countries like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, Luxembourg are showing decent growth too.
They are. Sweden at 5.6%, Luxembourg at 5.8%.
Yeah.
It shows broad demand across the continent.
So what's driving the European market? Similar factors to North America.
Pretty similar, yeah. Automotive and construction are key, but the report also highlights the electronics industry as a big consumer in Europe.
Ah, electronics.
Yes, and like North America, they have advanced manufacturing. But an interesting angle in Europe is the really strong focus on sustainability.
Right. That's becoming huge everywhere, but particularly there.
It really is, and it's definitely influencing material choices.
Okay, now for the region that's apparently growing the fastest. Asia Pacific, APAC.
Yeah, this is where the growth story gets really exciting. APAC holds about 23% of the market currently.
So third largest share right now.
Right. Valued at around USD 180.43 million for 2025. But the key figure is at CAGR, 9.7% projected from 2025 to 2033.
Wow, 9.7%. That's significantly higher than North America or Europe.
By quite a margin. It's clearly the most dynamic region for growth in this market.
So who are the big players driving that growth in APAC? China must be huge.
China's definitely leading. Largest market share in the region, USD 75.78 million, and a very healthy 9.2% CAGR.
Okay. And others, Japan, South Korea.
Yep, Japan and South Korea are significant too.
Yeah.
Market sizes in the low to mid-20s of millions, CGRs around 8% or a bit higher.
And India, I saw a really high growth number there.
India really stands out. The current market is smaller, about USD 18.04 million, but the projected CAGR is 11.6%.
11.6, that's massive.
It is. Then you also have Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, Southeast Asia, all showing strong growth rates, mostly between 9 and 10.5%.
So what's fueling this incredible expansion across APAC?
It's kind of a perfect storm, really. You've got massive expansion in their own automotive, construction, and packaging sectors. Huge infrastructure investments happening.
Right, you see that everywhere.
Exactly. Combine that with rapid industrialization and just a growing middle class demanding, better quality goods, which often means higher performance materials.
It's a powerful combination. Okay, moving down the globe, South America.
South America represents a smaller slice, but still important, a bit over 5% of the global revenue.
Okay, and the numbers.
Market size estimated at USD 28.57 million for 2025, with a projected CAGR of 7.7% through 2033, so growing faster than North America and Europe.
Interesting. And Brazil leads the way there.
Yes, Brazil is the dominant market in South America.
Yeah.
But USD 12.23 million market size and an 8.3% growth rate.
And Argentina, also strong growth.
Argentina smaller, USD 4.8 million, but has an even higher projected CAGR at 8.6%. Colombia, Peru, Chile are also showing solid growth, sort of 7.5 to 8% range.
What's the underlying story in South America? Similar drivers again.
Largely, yes. Increasing demand in automotive, construction, packaging. Plus, rising industrialization levels and infrastructure development are definitely playing a part, and just a general shift towards wanting higher performance materials.
Got it. Now, the Middle East and Africa. Smaller markets currently, but some interesting growth figures, especially Africa.
That's right. The Middle East holds around 2% of the market, about USD 30.07 million in 2025, but with a strong 8.3% CAGR. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are the main players there.
In Africa, it's the smallest share, but the highest growth.
Exactly. Africa is currently only about 1% of the global market, around USD 16.54 million in 2025. But the projected CAGR is a massive 16.2%.
16.2, that's incredible growth. Where's that coming from, mainly?
South Africa is a key driver with a 17.1% projected CAGR. Nigeria is also important, growing at 16.4%.
What's behind that explosive growth rate in Africa?
Similar themes again, but maybe amplified. Increased activity in construction, automotive, packaging, lots of infrastructure expansion happening, rising industrialization from a lower base perhaps, and just a fundamental need for better, more durable materials as these economies develop. That high growth suggests it's a market really starting to take off.
Absolutely one to watch. Okay, we've toured the world. Let's switch gears now and look at how these silicone master batches are being used, the applications.
Sounds good. So where are they making the biggest impact in terms of specific uses?
Yeah, what are the key application areas?
Well, interestingly, the report identifies the wires and cables segment as the fastest growing application.
Wires and cables, why is that?
Think about all the electronics, the EVs, the telecommunications infrastructure. There's just a huge need for better insulation, more durability, better fire resistance perhaps in wiring.
That makes total sense, especially with electrification trends. What about the applications that hold the biggest share right now?
Right now, that would be auto interior PP parts. So polypropylene parts inside cars.
Ah, okay. Dashboards, door panels, things like that.
Exactly. The auto industry is relentlessly pushing for materials that are lighter weight, but still durable, and importantly, look and feel good.
And silicone master batches help with that.
Yeah, they can really improve scratch resistance, give a softer, more premium feel, reduce gloss sometimes, basically enhance the aesthetics and the durability of those plastic parts.
So the nice finish in a modern car interior might have these materials playing a role.
Very likely, yes.
The report also mentions BOPP films and PCABS parts. What are those used for?
So BOPP films, that's biaxially oriented polypropylene, are used a lot in packaging. Think food wrappers, labels, tapes. Silicone master batches can improve things like the sealing properties or the clarity.
Okay, packaging.
And PCABS parts, that's a polycarbonate and ABS blend, often used in electronics housings, like for laptops or phones, and also some automotive components. Adding silicone master batches can boost impact resistance or improve the surface finish.
Got it. So applications are quite diverse. Now let's link that to the end-use industries. Which sectors are the biggest consumers?
The electronics industry currently takes the dominant share of the market.
That makes sense given what you just said about PCABS and wires and cables.
Exactly. It's driven by that constant demand for higher performance in smaller packages. Miniaturization is a huge trend.
And heat becomes a problem then.
Precisely. Silicone masterbatches often offer excellent thermal stability, which is critical for managing heat in tightly packed electronics. Helps prevent overheating and failure.
Keeps our gadgets running smoothly, hopefully. Which industry is growing the fastest in its use of these materials?
That would be the transportation sector.
Ah, back to automotive, but broader?
Yes, automotive is a huge part of it, with rising global production and especially the boom in electric vehicles, which have specific material needs.
Lighter weight for range, durability.
Right. Plus, the constant push for fuel efficiency favors lighter materials, but it's also aerospace and railways, which also demand very high performance, reliable materials.
So transportation as a whole is really driving increased demand. What about other industries mentioned, like packaging, telecom, energy?
Yeah, they're significant too. The packaging industry, as we touched on with BOPP films,
Yeah.
is constantly evolving and needs advanced materials.
Makes sense.
Telecommunications needs materials for cables and components, often with specific electrical properties. The energy sector too, perhaps in renewables or power transmission. And then there's a whole category of others, which covers various industrial applications where durability and performance are key.
Okay, so a wide range of end users. Now let's talk market dynamics. Every market has its ups and downs, its drivers and restraints.
Okay.
What are the main things pushing this market forward?
Well, we've touched on some already. The expanding packaging industry needing better materials is a big one.
Right.
Also, the growing demand in medical and healthcare applications. Performance and safety are obviously critical there.
Absolutely.
And as we've seen, the relentless demand from electronics and consumer goods industries, people want better, longer-lasting products.
Yeah. So it's this broad push across many sectors for enhanced material properties. What about the challenges? What's holding the market back, potentially?
The report points to a couple of key restraints. One is the relatively high production costs.
Cost is always a factor.
Yeah, both the raw silicone materials and the actual processing to make the master batches can be expensive. That can be a barrier, particularly for applications where cost is really critical.
Makes sense. Anything else?
The other point mentioned is sometimes slow adoption rates in more, let's say, traditional industries. They might be used to older materials and hesitant to switch, even if the performance is better.
Inertia, basically. Cost and sticking with what you know.
Pretty much. Common challenges for advanced materials.
Okay, so drivers and restraints. Now, what about the future? What are the key trends shaping this market going forward?
One really significant trend is increased investment in R&D. Companies are really pouring money into developing new formulations, finding new ways to use these master batches.
Innovation is key.
Definitely. And alongside that, we're seeing advancements in the manufacturing technologies themselves, making production more efficient, improving quality control, consistency.
So better products made more efficiently. Any other major trends?
Yes, a really big one. Sustainability. There's a major focus now on developing more eco-friendly solutions.
How does that translate in this market?
It means looking at things like bio-based silicone alternatives, or designing master batches that work well with recycled plastics, or making the end products themselves more easily recyclable.
That seems crucial now. Companies have to be thinking about that.
Absolutely. It reflects that broader global push towards greener chemistry and a circular economy.
Okay, that brings us nicely to the competitive landscape. Who are the main companies playing this field and what are they focusing on?
The landscape features several key global players, and their focus really mirrors those trends we just discussed: innovation, sustainability, and adopting advanced manufacturing.
So they're investing heavily in R&D.
Yes, significant resources are going into R&D to improve performance, find new applications, and, as we said, address sustainability concerns.
And how are they competing strategically? Mergers? Partnerships?
We're seeing all of that. Strategic partnerships, M&A activity. Companies are looking to consolidate, expand their reach, maybe acquire specific technologies.
Any specific examples?
Yeah, the report actually mentions one from August 2022. Wacker launched a product called Genioplasty P50S08.
Okay, what's special about that?
It's an additive master batch specifically for polyethylene, designed to enhance surface properties. But interestingly, it's also highlighted as being suitable for use with recycled polyethylene.
Ah, so hitting both performance and sustainability notes?
Exactly. It's a great little case study of those key trends in action.
And the report lists some major competitors, right? Like Dow, Wacker, Momentive.
Yes, those big chemical companies are definitely key players. But there are also other significant ones mentioned, like Chengdu Silike, Java Chem, Matrix Polytech, Prismacolor, Plastic Accretus, Plastiblends, KG, though some specific competitor data is kept confidential in the report.
So it's a mix of large multinationals and maybe some more specialized companies. Sounds like a busy marketplace.
It definitely seems dynamic. The core focus seems to be pushing the boundaries of what these materials can do while also making them more sustainable.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive, I have to say. Looking at this report on silicone master batches has been quite revealing.
It really paints a picture of a market with strong fundamentals and significant growth potential.
Yeah, just to quickly recap for you listening, we're seeing solid global growth, around 7% CDGR expected through 2033.
Driven strongly by industries like automotive, construction, and electronics needing higher performing materials.
And geographically, while North America and Europe are the biggest markets now, the real acceleration is happening in Asia Pacific and especially Africa with that incredible 16% growth rate.
And keep an eye on those key applications and end uses. Wires and cables is a fast-growing application, and the whole transportation sector is the fastest-growing end-use industry.
So, as we wrap up, maybe something for you to think about. We've talked a lot about this rising demand for materials that offer both high performance and sustainability.
Right.
How do you see these trends in the kind of niche world of silicone master batches potentially impacting the everyday products you use, or maybe the industries you follow closely?
It's interesting to consider how these behind-the-scenes material improvements might ripple outwards. Definitely something to keep an eye on in industry news.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive today.
Yes, thank you.